We've been discussing philosophy dito sa Tamang Usapan for what, 3 years na rin 'no?
Oo
Across
nga 'no,
3 'di
akalain mo
ba?
'yun.
And almost 100 episodes 'no? And most people 'no, na kung if nasamahan niyo kami simula ng simula, ilyar na kayo sa mga philosophers na lagi naming nababanggit ni Russell, 'di ba? Kabisado niyo na yung mga pangalan nila. Pero there is one philosopher na maybe, either you know us through this podcast na naririnig niyo yung pangalan niya nababanggit namin ni Russell, or if you know us personally, you know how deep our, well, connection in a way dahil nga tukol sa kanya yung sinulat naming thesis sa bachelor's 'no, ng philosophy. Itong philosopher na pag-uusapan natin tonight, 'di ba? And well, we are excited 'no, to talk about this philosopher na very important sa amin ni Russell 'no. We will enter the world of a thinker whose entire philosophy begins 'no, when you're confronted by another human being. A philosopher of responsibility, vulnerability, and the face of the other 'no. Sino ba Russell ang pag-uusapan natin?
Yeah, of course, no other than Emmanuel Levinas. So 'yan, let's prepare sa namang episode natin ng Usapang Philosopher dito sa inyong favorite background noise. Ako po si Russell,
Ako naman po si Lennon,
ito ang Tamang Usapan.
usapang may tama.
Well, Levinas is considered as a contemporary philosopher, being born in 1900s, particularly 1906 in Lithuania or Lithuania. That's the thing with contemporary philosophers, yung tinatawag natin postmodern thinkers, no? Kasi kung sakali na you stumble upon one of Levinas's works, you'll get to have this thought too na binabasa mo ba sila o sila yung bumabasa sa'yo? Parang may gano'ng ano, may gano'ng, thought minsan na papasok sa'yo na, "Teka nga 'no, kung minsan ire-reflect mo sa day-to-day life mo, ba oo nga 'no," 'di ba? So yun, if we talk about Emmanuel Levinas, or we delve into his philosophy, siyempre introduce muna namin siya properly. So yun, yung buhay ni Emmanuel Levinas, siya yung nagsabi na ethics is the first philosophy. This is kind of, hmm, controversial in a sense, not in a bad way, pero during the time when he was proposing this argument, back then ang universally accepted na maxim was metaphysics is the first philosophy, 'no. And now Levinas is trying to actually say that, well, actually guys, metaphysics is ethics. O kaya yung sinasabi na ethics of the face, in the parlance o yung in one way of saying it by Father Gwen Barde, it's face-to-face metaphysics, di ba? Kaya yun, we will explore the life and works of this important thinker. Why? Kasi it was Levinas who were among the few who really stood against the horrors of Showa, 'no, yung Holocaust na tinatawag nga ng iba, 'no. Kinorek yun even in the academic circles na wag natin yung tawaging Holocaust kasi hindi siya Holocaust. Holocaust is something sacred. Ano siya, it's Showa, 'no, yung purging na ginawa sa millions of Jew. Jews 'no, or Jewish people during the time of the Nazi regime. So nun or nun lang 'no, kasi hindi mo Father Lennon dahil, ah, we were we are trying to reminisce 'no, our college days 'no, when we agreed to discuss Levinas. In a way, this is also our tribute to him. Pina-graduate kami. At some point, I believe, Lennon created an abstract 'no, nagpa-call for papers, ang, UST,
Mm.
Faculty of Philosophy, and it's the Levinas Papers. Tapos, I believe, The Other in the Time of Duterte
Oo, yang
ang title
sinulat
'no.
mo, oo.
Natanggap si Lennon pero hindi niya ginawa yung papel. Siyempre
Hindi,
tamad
ginawa ko yun
kasi.
pre,
Ginawa mo
prinesent
yun?
ko yun, oo.
Prinesend mo pala, yun, akala ko di mo ginawa.
Prinesent ko yun, ang hindi natanggap, prinasa ko yun sa isang journal sa South, alam mo na. Tapos hindi tinanggap dun.
Okey, oo, sabagay
Pero
pagka
sa
kasi
event sa UST, very
natuloy
well
na pala.
received yun. Nandun
Hindi ko na
si Dr. Garcia, Diovino
yeah,
Maria
yeah.
Garcia, and si, Father Roger Burgrave, yung student
Yun yung
ni
student
Levinas.
ni
Mhm.
yan. So, few words to, introduce the life Levinas, early studies niya kasi mga ano lang 'to, mga Facebook profile ano
Profile.
lang 'to, World War a little bit of World War II just
Mhm.
to provide the main context kung paano niya nabuo yung kanyang, ah, writing, so yung philosophical thought niya. Then we together pagtsismisan natin yung kanyang, philosophy.
So si Emmanuel Levinas 'no, was born nung 1906 sa Lithuania 'no, into a Jewish family 'no. Immersed in literature. They are very, simula nung bata pa siya, their family, well, of course, although it might be, stereotypical 'no, na as a Jew, ibig sabihin yung family niya is more into commerce 'no. So totoo naman 'yun. But still, his family is also very cultured 'no. And as he was born in Lithuania, ibig sabihin yung kanyang first language 'no, yung kanyang mother tongue kumbaga, Hebrew dahil Hudyo siya, and Russia 'no. He was very, immersed into, European literature, European thought, and the Hebrew scriptures 'no, or what we call the Old Testament. Now, later on, he with his family 'no, he migrated to France 'no. Later on in his life, naging naturalized French citizen siya. Kaya now we categorize Emmanuel Levinas as a French philosopher 'no, although he was born in Lithuania. In the 1920s 'no, in the 1920s he began his studies ng properly ng philosophy. He studied sa Strasbourg 'no. Itong Strasbourg ay nasa France, nasa, border na 'to ng ano, ng Germany 'no. Doon sa Strasbourg, nakilala niya yung one of the most famous and the best at the time, the best philosopher at the time, si Edmund Husserl 'no. And he fell in love with the philosophy of Husserl, yung tinatawag nating phenomenology 'no. Ito yung pagtingin sa mundo not through scientific lens, kasi yun yung tendency, after ng Reformation, after ng Industrial Revolution, to look at the world only through positivism, only through, scientific, hindi scientific, scientific. Ibig sabihin, ito yung mindset na kapag yan ay walang scientific explanation, hindi yan totoo. O kaya kapagka yan ay hindi mo puwedeng i-submit sa experiment, hindi yan totoo. Mayroong gano'ng ano noon, tendency 'no. Pero si user sabi niya, "No, no, no. Phenomena should be seen through various lenses 'no. ng reality. So, mayroon kang lens na religious, meron kang lens na scientific, meron kang lens na eksperyensya. So, ang importante kay user is the phenomena itself, eh. How do you live out that experience 'no? So, yung tinatawag na phenomenological method na first, yung favorite namin na Russell na ginagawa yung epoche na tinatawag 'no, yung pag-bracket ng iyong mga
Yeah,
prejudices and biases so as not to color 'no, yung iyong judgment nung phenomena. Later
yeah.
on meron yung primary reflection, secondary reflection. Anyways, if you want to have another episode about phenomenology, we will gladly do that. But Husserl is very important for Levinas kasi ito yung first step niya, no? Actually, Levinas is also important kay Husserl kasi he was the one who translated his works sa French. So, the French knew Husserl through Levinas. Kaya later on, yung mga nakabasa like si Jean-Paul Sartre, yung mga existentialists, nung natagpuan nila si Husserl, it's through Levinas. Kaya nagkaroon ng existentialism after yun ng phenomenology. No? So nakita nyo ngayon yan yung history na. But through Husserl, itong si Husserl kasi, si Edmund Husserl, who was by the way also Jewish. Importante ba yung kanilang yung kanilang religion? Yap. Yeah. Itong si Edmund Husserl, siya ay mayroong disciple, yung kanyang pinaka-favorite na estudyante 'no, si Martin Heidegger 'no. Actually, nung nag-retire si Husserl dun sa kanyang, position as rector or school president, university president, rector ng University of Freiburg, I think, parang Freiburg ata yun. Ang nagmana si Martin Heidegger. Now, si Levinas dahil nga sa na-inlove siya dun sa phenomenology ni Husserl, he attended classes ni Heidegger. Sabi niya, "Tignan ko nga 'tong estudyante ni Husserl, parang okey rin 'to, tingnan ko nga kung paano niya ire-refine yung phenomenology ni Husserl." And Levinas was deeply impressed by Heidegger 'no, especially dun sa magnum opus ni Heidegger, yung Being and Time 'no. It's very oo, Sight yun ang pinaka para kay Levinas the best, um, product of philosophy of his time 'no. However, this will also be the point of inflection later on in the life of Levinas para sa pag-create nung sarili niyang filosofiya 'no. So what happened? Of course, we know na by this time 1920s, 'di ba, 30s. By the 30s, something arose within Germany 'no. If you remember after the First World War, Germany, the Empire of Germany was, um, badly treated by the Allied powers 'no. Tinanggal yung monarchy, tinanggal yung emperor, yung Kaiser, tapos inimpose yung Weimar Republic na tinatawag, na very unstable and also nag-impose yung mga alis yung US, yung France ng napakalaking reparations na kailangan nilang magbayad taon-taon tapos demilitarize, so tinanggalan sila ng moral. So makikita mo ngayon may masyadong bumagsak yung Germany. And then by the 1920s 'no, by the late 1920s dumating yung Great Depression sa US. So dahil may Great Depression sa US, kailangan nila ng pera, prinersure nila lalo yung Germany na may utang sa kanila dahil nga sa reparations ng First World War na magbayad. This caused in the German people a sense of, kailangan natin ng magliligtas sa atin kasi magulo ang lahat. Then came a populist politician by the name of Adolf Hitler and his
Akala ko
party.
Donald Trump, eh.
Hindi, Duterte. Ay so itong si Adolf Hitler tapos ang kanyang National Nazi party 'no, so sabihin nung iba, "'Di mo magkalaban ang mga socialist at ang mga fascist." Hindi, iisa lang sila. Pero so nagsimula, umusbong yung National Socialist Party na promising to the German people na itong redemption 'no, na babaguhin natin lahat, papahiya natin yung mga namahiya sa atin, ibabangon natin yung Germany before the war 'no, babawiin natin yung mga nawala sa atin. And then the people supported them 'no, and one of the supporters was Martin Heidegger. He is not only a supporter by name or para lang mapanatili yung kanyang posisyon, no, talagang siya, all in siya. In fact, Heidegger was very surrounded by Jews. Kasi,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Husserl was his professor, then naging estudyante niya nga si Levinas.
Yes, yes.
Another co-disciple 'no, co-disciple, kasi kaklase niya kumbaga under kay Husserl ay si Edith Stein, who
Oh,
will
yeah,
become,
yeah.
Saint Teresa,
Benedict
um,
of the Cross.
Benedicta of the Cross, yeah. And yung kanyang kulasisi kasi kabit niya yun, hindi naman talaga niya asawa, si Hannah Arendt, Jew din yun. So, very close siya sa mga Jews pero really integrated himself to the Nazi party 'no. To the point niya nung time ng kataasan ng zenith ng power ng Nazi party, he even banned Edmund Husserl from using the library of the university kasi nga siya na yung bagong rector, hindi na si Husserl. Yung master niya 'no, yung pinalitan niya yung predecessor niya, binan niya dun dahil Hudyo siya 'no. This created in Levinas a sense of para bang, teka, Heidegger is the brightest mind, eh. Paano niya maatim na kumampi dito sa incarnation ng evil? Kasi remember Levinas
Yeah, yeah. That's true.
was a Jew himself. And what happened kay Levinas nung World War II? Nung World War II, yung buong pamilya niya, except sa anak niyang babae, ay naging victims ng Shoah. Naligtas siya kasi siya ay nagtrabaho as a soldier for the French army 'no, as a translator of German to French and French to Russian. Dahil dun nung nahuli siya, hindi siya nilagay sa concentration camp, nilagay siya sa prisoners of war 'no, kasi mayroon niyang rules sa engagement of war. So, he was captured by the Nazis and during that those years in captivity, doon nabuo yung kanyang pagmumuni-muni, yung sarili niyang pilosopiya. Kasi nga, he was grappling on the question, paano itong si Martin Heidegger, the best philosopher that I have known in my life, no, whose philosophy is life-changing for me, paano niya naatim na suportahan. Hindi niya out of necessity na para lang maprotektahan niya yung trabaho niya, yung pamilya niya, no. Talagang sinuportahan niyang buong-buo yung Nazi party 'no. So yun ang dilemma ni Levinas 'no. Paanong ang rationality na supposedly from Plato downwards, ang iniisip natin, a human being is the rational animal, 'di ba? And being a
Yeah,
rational
yeah.
animal, ito yung nagbibigay sa kanya ng dignity. So, paanong itong pinnacle sa Heidegger, the pinnacle of the rational animal, the best of us, paano niya naatim na kumampi dito sa pure incarnation ng pure evil that is the Nazi party 'no. So, yun yung kanyang yung kanyang pinagnilay-nilayan 'no. Habang nandun siya sa prison, yun nga yung kanyang nagsimula na siya magsulat nung kanyang libro and dun na umpisang mag-form ngayon yung kanyang kanyang filosofiya.
And it's ano 'no, it's reflective of what's even going on ngayon, eh, 'no? Like, you have this internationally celebrated lawyer, champion of human rights 'no. For the longest time, staunch critic siya ng mga human rights violators, eh. Only to find him na wala na, ako na, pabago-bago na siya ng statements and ako
Just to
na-realize
pander
ko
to
dun,
someone.
yeah, like, it's not only a tragedy but yeah, it even happens even to the best of us. Yun yung ano ko dun, just like Heidegger being if I'm not mistaken ang previous sa amin dati nun ni Gwen Barbe, may mga universities sa Germany, sa Netherlands, nababayaran ka nila basta ang thesis mo ay ire-refute ang being and time.
Oo.
Yeah, hardcore 'no, but, yeah, well, I digress. Pero imagine that 'no, while wrestling with the meaning of human existence, after seeing all of this tremendous violence against the human race 'no, I mean, hindi lang naman Jews talaga yung namatay nung Shoah. I mean, we have Saint Maximilian Mary Kolbe. Naging ano, wala pang hindi pa naimbento yung term na na-desensitize ng tao. Desensitize na tayo sa violence, ang buong mundo back then. Ipinilit sa ating tanggapin lang yon 'no. Ipinilit lang sa humanity na, hindi, ito ang mukha ng giyera, eh. And, people were, governments, well, luminaries by the time, policy luminaries, they were all scrambling to really strike a balance, to make a change 'no, para sa mga tao. So, in his own way, as a scholar, at the same time as a conscientious, person, Levinas wrote his philosophical essays after the war 'no. So, meron siyang, well, philosophical ta's meron din siyang mga commentaries like in the Talmud, sacred texts din ng mga Jewish people. Tapos nagturo siya, I believe hindi siya sa ano, eh, hindi sa Sorbonne, eh, sa Nanterre, University of Paris X, 'di ba, Nanterre. And he published his magnum opus 'no, yung Totality and Infinity, 'di ba? Totalite et Infinite, so French kasi yun. Ta's yung otherwise on being it comes a later time. So, it's a reflection of what he has seen all through his life. Basically ganun ang mga philosophers. They will tell you what they saw, what they tasted, what they felt, what they experienced. Yun, ganun lang din ang dahilan kung he fell in love with Husserl's phenomenology. In a way, yun din, yun ang nagpa-inlove sa akin kay Levinas 'no. Kasi it's in the wake also of Tokhang 'no, nung time na yun. Grabe, in Bagong Silang, Caloocan, just a few meters away from our seminary dun tinatapon yung mga, corpse na nakabalot ng tape at butas yung torso, ano, butas yung katawan 'no. Minsan kapag may time sila, may karatula. Minsan naman nakasulat sa tape mismo yung label na "Wag tularan, adik." 'No, and it really it really haunts us. May time talaga na ano, na-adapt na namin yung active na part na may hinabol, hindi siya yung hinahabol, hindi siya yung target. Dahil tumakbo siya yung unang napatay. 3 days kasi dahil mahirap 'no. So, binurol siya dun sa open court. 3 days na nakaburol yun, yung napatay, bumalik ulit yung mga armadong tao para patayin yung target nila. So, dalawa silang binurol dun. Ta's yung isa pa dun meron kaming mga bata na tinuturuan ng katekism. Yung tatay niya pinasok talaga sa loob ng bahay niya. Ito yung mga panahong yun, ito yung mga sandaling yun na napa napalapit ako dun sa reflection ng buhay on violence and on Levinas 'no. Pero yan, sige, well, without further ado, pasok tayo doon sa philosophy niya. Yeah, basically his life marked by exile, loss 'no, despair almost, it shaped the philosophy and now hindi yun centered sa self niya. Yun ang difference kasi si Heidegger kaya siya very appealing, sabi, ito hindi galing sa'kin na idea, pero number one because German has no such thing as academic German. Yung German,
Mm.
yung Deutsch language, yung Deutsch, yung tinuturo yung language na ginagamit sa loob ng classroom parehas lang sa language na ginagamit sa palengke, sa kalsada, sa lansangan. Kaya kapag sinabi mo Weltanschauung, alam nila yon na lahat yun worldview ibig sabihin nun. Kaya yung, Krakenhaus, mga gano'n, So, yun yung point. So, number two, it's because of the elevation of the self or the ego. Pero not in the ito kasi medyo ngayon natuto na tayo, pero during that time, it was so appealing even to the common folks na, "Uy, baka ako yung ano, baka ako yung Dasein." Dasein kasi yun, yung
Kay
being,
Heidegger, oo.
hmm, ang naging interpretation ng karamihan sa mga Germans, kami ang Dasein, kami yung thinking, rational, righteous na race and anyone na tatanggi nun, they deserve nothing but the every violence parang gano'n dating. So, that's what happened. So, here comes Levinas offering, hindi self ang bida dito, rather yung nai-encounter ng self everyday. So, sige pasok tayo dun, Pads.
Yeah, punta na tayo sa kanyang philosophy 'no. Ito remember again, introduction lang 'to. So if you want to go deeper, we recommend to you especially yung mga primary sources 'no. So ewan ko makakapaglagay din kami ni Russell diyan ng mga secondary sources especially yung mga gawa naming dalawa diyan sa description siguro 'no. Anyways, first and foremost, let us discuss nga yung idea ni Levinas that ethics is the first philosophy. Now, why is it katulad ng sabi ni Russell kanina, why was it in a way controversial? Kasi traditionally, ethics is in the realm of what Kant calls practical philosophy. So, dahil practical philosophy siya at mas importante siyempre minana natin kay Plato, mas importante yung ideal, 'di ba, yung theoretical. So, mas importante hindi lang yung metaphysics, pati yung epistemology. Mapapansin niyo rin 'yan kung kayo ay nag-aaral ng philosophy, nagme-major kayo ng philosophy. Yung ethics kadalasan 'yan second year, first year, kasi nandiyan pa yung mga madadali 'di ba, na mga ano, supposedly madadaling subjects, mga history o introduction to philosophy. Then later on, mas specialize ng specialize 'no. So, gano'n yung mindset. Pero sabi ni Levinas, "No, no, no. Ethics is before ontology or the study of being, that is metaphysics." No? Para kay Heidegger, ang tanong ni Heidegger kasi is, what is the meaning of being? Anong rason? Ano ang ibig sabihin ng pagiging, no, ng existence? Later on, existence, yung inampun ng mga existentialists. Sabi ni Levinas, hindi yan yung unang tanong. Yan ay later mo na yan itatanong dapat sa buhay mo. Ang una mo dapat tanong, ano ba ang pwede kong gawin para sa'yo? Ano ba ang pwede kong gawin para dun sa other with a capital o yung outer sa French, no? Yung other, what can I do for the other? Kasi yung
Yeah,
ethical question na yun, dun ang gagaling yung buong filosofiya, no? In a way, ethics precedes metaphysics, no? And this is very revolutionary. Kasi nga,
yeah.
yun ang metaphysics ang laging foundation eh, ng lahat ng ethical ano eh. Pero ngayon, Levinas will say, no, ethics precedes metaphysics.
Yeah, and that's true kasi the point here is yung the face of the other. Hindi ito yung mukha na the mukha that we know na parang, mata, ilong, labi. No, no, no. Hindi ito yung ano ni Levinas. Ang dini-discuss ni Levinas dito ay hindi yung itsura. Kasi countenance yun, eh. Dinefine niya naman yun na ano, in case, malito kayo 'no, it's not what I mean, this is what I meant actually na physical countenance is different, pero it's part of the face. Pero sinasabi ni Levinas, what is the face of the other? It's the presence, the vulnerability. Levinas again, kaya nga si Lennon ang pinagbigay ko ng tawag mo diyan, ng intro 'no. Mahalaga kasing klaro sa atin na Hudyo si Levinas 'no, at bilang Hudyo sobrang importante sa kanila ang Ten Commandments. At doon ito yung sinasabi ni Levinas 'no, kapag nakita mo ang taong hindi ikaw, 'yan, kasi yun yung other. Mahihirapan tayong mga Pinoy pero mamaya natin pag-usapan yun kung bakit tayo mahihirapan, dahil sa kapwa. Pero ang point dito sinasabi ni Levinas, 'pag nakita mo yung other 'no, yung taong hindi ikaw, merong magsasabi at the back of your head, depende kung gaano ka kasensitibo sa discernment mo, pero merong maliit na tinig na magsasabi sa likod ng iyong isipan, "Huwag kang papatay, you shall not kill." Oh, kasi divine commandment 'yun. So, ang sinasabi dito ni Levinas, now hindi ko alam, kung ano tulungan mo lang ako nun kasi kinakalawang na talaga ako sa filo. So, you have this divine commandment, wag niyong bibitawan 'yun, "Thou shall not kill." So, sinasabi ni Levinas, yung taong nasa harapan mo, yan ay hindi ikaw. At yan ay dahil hindi yan ikaw, yung act na isipin mo pa lang, sa mind mo pa lang, i-assimilate mo siya sa'yo na, ito ay katulad kong tao, ito ay katulad kong Pilipino. Yan ay para kay Levinas, diyan pa lang, diyan na nagsisimula yung karahasan. Yung kapag ang tao sinukat mo according sa sarili mo. Yep. Kasi bakit? Dahil yun ang overarching na ethical action ng mga Germans during the Shoah. Ikaw ba ay German o hindi ka German? So, okay, hindi ka German, Hudyo ka, mas mababa ka sa'kin, dapat mawala ka sa mundong ito. So, that's the point. So, it is the presence, the vulnerability of the other, not through we, the other person, the other guy, 'no? And dahil dito, bukod doon sa part na ikaw ay hindi, yung taong yun ay hindi ikaw, meron siyang tinatawag na asymmetric relationship, asymmetric responsibility, 'no. Responsibility for Levinas is also defined differently, pero connected pa rin naman siya sa original sense of the word, responsibility. Pero hindi ito responsibility na nagmumula sa self na dahil capable ka of responding. But no, it's service 'no, kasi the person in front of you dahil hindi siya ikaw, siya instead na ikaw ay mataas sa kanya, for Levinas, yung other mas mataas sa'yo. Bakit? Balik tayo dun sa una kong sinabi, kasi "Thou shall not kill." So, at the back of your mind, may utos siya na divine in nature. Ibig sabihin yung other, yung taong hindi ikaw, siya ay may wangis ng divine. Kaya nga meron siyang, libro, Alterity and Transcendence. Well, parang sa bawat, ah, sa bawat hilatsa o sa bawat muka ng ibang tao, nandoon ang remnant, wangis o hilatsa o itsura ng Diyos, bakas ng Diyos 'no. So, imagine 'no, that's yun ang, nakaka-inlove 'no, dun sa mga natutunan ko diyan kay Levinas. So, it linguistically says simply, number one, "You shall not kill." Number two, "You are responsible for me." Just to close the face thing 'no, meron kasing dini-describe si Levinas, na tayo daw kasi, kaya tayo either bad trip o attracted sa ibang tao, kasi meron tayong state na tinatawag na jouissance 'no. Yun yung state of relaxed ka at happy-happy ka lang. Pero 'pag may dumating kasing ibang tao, nabe-break niya yun instantly. Again, wala ito, hindi siya social status, kahit sino basta hindi ikaw. So, bata, matanda, mayaman, mahirap, pare, madre, Muslim, wala yun. Hindi yun tinitingnan ni Levinas. The very, reality na merong ibang tao, may ibang person na hindi ikaw, it will destroy or it will disturb rather, sorry, it will disturb your sense of being, enjoying yourself. Yun yung jouissance, you're just enjoying with yourself. Kapag yun na-break, dalawa nga kasi yung response mo. So kung i-assimilate mo siya at makita mo siya na mababa sa'yo, immediately your mind will also tell you to commit violence. Murahin mo, salitaan mo sakit, kung halimbawa sexually, makakita ka babae tapos mag-catcalling ka, something like that. Subordinate mo, pagtripan mo 'no, that's violence, for Levinas 'no. And mamaya i-address din natin yung mga parang, yung mga critics against the ethics of the faith. Pero very strict talaga si Levinas nun. Kasi ang ideal nga na response dapat ay responsibility na, "Teka, I'm at your service, approve. After you, my lord, after you, master." Yun ang best response kasi nga it bears the bakas of the divine, eh. Kung si Moses nga hindi niya nakita nga daw yung face ng Diyos, nakita niya nasusunog lang na na bush, sinabi niya, "Oh, boss, okey ako, anong utos mo?" Gano'n din daw dapat tayo. Kasi yun yung nagbigay ng law, 'di ba? Yun yung nagbigay ng law, yun yung nagsabing wag kang papatay. Eh, it's the most fitting response, "Teka, I'm all yours. Bata mo ko, anong gusto mong gawin ko?" Yan. Yan ang face of the other ni Levinas.
Yeah, to understand din 'no, kung paano paano 'to kasi we might be wondering, "Teka, parang masyado namang, out of this world naman yung inaano ni Levinas, parang masyado niyang" parang yung criticism kay Marx 'di ba, na nagke-create siya ng artificial na clash of classes. Although merong clash pero masyado niyang pinapalala. Pero kay Levinas kasi to understand 'no, imagine this, that when the I, hindi ko sasabihin na you kasi, ano 'to, usapan dito yung being, yung I, yung ego. When the I, ako, ay dumating dito sa mundong ito, the first instinct is for my survival. So, kailangan ko ng pagkain. Kakainin ko itong nasa harap kong pagkain. And this pagkain will become part of me. And then later on, yung sa aking survival, hindi lang sa pagkain. I also want to know the world, yung dasay niya kasi 'di ba being there 'no, yung lugar kung nasaan ka. I also want to know where am I want to understand the laws of this reality 'no. So, papasok ka ngayon sa philosophy, sa science 'no, to understand the workings of the world 'no, to understand the laws of physics, to understand geometry, geography. Lahat 'yan, pag-accumulate 'yan ng knowledge. Ibig sabihin once you understand something, it becomes part of you 'no. 'Yan ay yung tinatawag nating ano, yung tawag nga ni na sabi nga ni Russell yung jouissance, yung self-enjoyment. You are enjoying the soliptitude rather of the self 'no, of the I, na ina-accumulate mo lahat ng nasa labas 'no. Mong maunawaan so that when yung naunawaan mo na yun maging part mo na yun 'no, yung part na ng ako 'no. So for example, um, kunwari ako ay wala akong idea kung ano ang cellphone or smartphone, and then I find one along the way, and then I start na kalikutin siya ano, pindutin siya. And then later on, tingnan ko kung paano siya nagfa-function. And then later on, siguro i-break ko siya tapos tingnan ko yung kanyang mga, components 'no. Then natutunan ko na kung paano siya 'no, kasi inano ko ni-reverse engineering ko. So, binalik ko tapos naayos ko ulit and then I know now, hindi lang ano yung itsura ng smartphone, but the very concept of the smartphone. Then the smartphone, although it remains as an object physically outside of me, pero the smartphone now becomes part of me, 'no? So, nakain ko na siya in a way. Now, the problem is when someone, someone na hindi na something, someone else comes into the view, 'no? He looks like me, pero parang may iba sa kanya. 'Yun yung other 'no, yung epiphany of the face na tinatawag ni Levinas, yung pagdating ng face na 'yun. And now, ang tanong diyan yung sa na-discuss ni Russell kanina na ethical commandment 'no, na thou shalt not kill. Bakit siya ethical? Bakit hindi siya metaphysical? Kung 'yun ang foundation ng philosophy at ng lahat, bakit hindi siya metaphysical? Kasi the very fact that you can still kill the other, that I can still kill the other, yun ang nagpapa-ethics sa kanya. Kasi meron pa rin akong choice, 'no? Meron pa rin akong choice kung susundin ko ba. Although mas mataas yun sa akin, 'no? Kung susundin ko ba yung demand na yun o hindi, 'no? So now, in face to face with the face of the other, I have two choices kumbaga ng aking pakikipag-relationship sa kanya. The first one is the relationship of totality. 'No? Ito pa rin yung ano, yung natural nating, instinct, that is to know everything around us, to control everything around us, to make everything around us, part of me, 'no? So, itong pagkain na ito kakainin ko, itong laws of physics aalamin ko, and now comes the other, 'no, who looks like me but is not me. How can I now, relate to him? By totality, well, I will dominate him or her, 'no? By means na hindi lang physical na domination, pero conceptual din. Ika-categorize ko na ngayon, magsisimula akong mag-categorize. Okay, ito ay mga kaibigan ko. Ito ay mga kaaway ko. Ito ay mga, well, yung mga ano ngayon, 'di ba, mga, recent ngayon na categorization. Ito ay pink lawan. Ito ay, DDS. Ito ay ano, loyalista. May mga gano'n na. Oo, so you try to categorize people. However, this relationship of totality is still violence against the other kasi nga hindi yun ang hinihingi ng face. Ang hinihingi ng face of the other is you respect the mystery na never mo dapat na makontrol, 'no, yung mystery. Kasi again, may bakas ng Diyos dun, eh. God is someone we cannot ever control, we cannot ever know, 'no, yung know na knowledge, never, never tayo magkakaroon ng full knowledge ng Diyos. Puwede lang natin siyang ma-grasp 'no, um, ma anong tawag dito, madampi kumbaga 'no, never. Gano'n din sa other. The other, relationship 'no, so meron kang relationship of totality. The other possible relationship is that of infinity, oh, 'di ba? Kaya yung libro ni Levinas ay Totality and Infinity. Infinity is to realize that the face of the other, that finite being in front of me, is actually an infinity in himself. Why? Paanong infinity? No? It does not mean hindi siya mamamatay, pero infinity siya kasi never, never ko siyang makikilalang tunay. Never ako magkakaroon ng buong knowledge sa kanya. Kahit na kahit na girlfriend ko, kahit na asawa ko pa siya, kahit na ang tagal na naming namuhay, with each other, never, never kong makokontrol yung lahat ng kanya kasi she will always remain a mystery, 'no? So, the relationship of infinity is actually to recognize the irreducible mystery of every human person. At ito ngayon, yung relationship of responsibility. Dahil nga I am aware na never ko 'tong makokontrol, na never ko 'tong, magiging part of me. Now, anong relationship natin? Hindi puwedeng sabihin na wala tayong relationship kasi that's ano, an impossibility. So now, my relationship with the other is that of responsibility. Après vous, after you 'no? Here I am, always ready to serve you. Mayroon ng gano'n na ano, na hindi na siya yung para makontrol ko, yung para makilala ko, yung para maging akin. Rather, it's more of what can I do for you, 'no? 'Yan ang ano ni Levinas.
And kaya siya asymmetry kasi the responsibility is without reciprocity. Prevu anong maipagkilingkod ko, bata mo ko. Again, meron kasi siyang important, biblical na lang, hindi Jewish, eh, pero biblical themes tulad ng hineni 'no, yung hineni, you will always read that 'no, across the Bible. Well, mostly in the Old Testament, whenever God would reveal himself 'no, yung epiphany ng Diyos. The most proper response 'no, as the Bible would teach us is hineni, "Here I am." 'No, ano pong maipaglilingkod ko Panginoon. And dahil nga yun nga nakuwento ko naman na kanina, dahil nga may bakas ng infinity, may bakas ng divine ang bawat tao, ang kapwa or ang other 'no. So, it's the fitting response. I am responsible for you. I am giving you my ability to respond 'no, and I'm not expecting anything in return. Kaya medyo ano 'to radikal na na tao, oo, radikal na pilosopiya. Why? Kasi yun ang issue din kasi, nasobrahan din talaga sa totality. Kaya nga yung totalitarianism, dun din 'to nahango sa philosophy ni Levinas 'no, kaya nga totalitarian si Hitler, eh. Kasi nga the plenitude of potestatis, the fullness of power lies in one man, no? The totality of governance, of power, and of violence, no? Kaya yun din, sabi ni Levinas, "Hindi, 'di baliktarin natin." Pero hindi out of spite, pero sabi niya, "No, this is the truth. This is the reality actually that it's not actually about the other, no? It's not about actually ourselves, but rather it's the other." Ngayon, ang isang magiging tanong niyo sa akin or dito sa usapan, responsible ako sa iba, no? Does that mean na sila ay magiging responsible sa akin? Hindi. Kasi nga hindi ka naghihintay ng kapalit. Eh, parang unfair naman yun. No, kasi ourselves, we are wired to be makasarili. So, ang assumption dito ni Levinas, eh, tayo ay makasarili. Iniisip na natin ang sarili natin. So, we know what's best for us. Kaya nga kapag tayo ay 'pag nabasag yung jouissance, yung self-enjoyment 'no, na enjoy kang mahalin ng sarili mo, that's the time you respond to the call of the divine through the other. Now, we go with language. Gano'n din yun, sinasabi niya, language is already moral in the sense na you avoid assimilating the other to yourself, 'no. Na okey DDS ka, bobo ka, o pinklawan ka, bobo ka, apologist ka, bayaran ka, no, regardless, 'no. You don't look at those things, but rather you look them as purely other, 'no. Kasi gano'n naman tayo mga tao, 'no, hindi lang naman mga Pilipino. Gano'n tayong mga tao. Kapagka sa oras ng sakuna ng trahedya, hindi man tayo nagbibilangan, hindi man tayo nag, huhusgahan na, "Ay ano 'to, bakit ko 'to tutulungan, eh, masamang tao 'to." No, then even the war 'no, even during the war makikita natin na merong mga exceptional moments wherein even allied forces or the Nazis, they can forget, 'no, they can forget those, differences just to promote life, promote the common good, 'di ba? So, parang gano'n. So, speaking already acknowledges the other kaya nga yung hineni, it's the most radical form. Kaya in-apply ni Levinas sa French, après vous, after you, 'no? After you, kapagka papapasok ka sa pinto, 'di ba? Sige po, una na kayo, 'di ba? Gano'n din sa Filipino, pronouns natin very collective. Ano pong atin? So, hindi siya ano sa inyo, ano sa'yo. Kasi kung ano sa'yo, nag-a-assume ka na ikaw ay superior, 'di ba? Ano sa'yo bata?
Hmm,
Ano sa'yo? Anong bibilhin mo? Anong gusto mo? Pero kapag sinabi mo, "Anong atin?" You acknowledge, okey, mas mataas ka sa akin. So, we also go to the yung ethics of the infinite in a way. The point is yun nga, babalik tayo doon sa Bible 'no, sa Old Testament. For Levinas, ethics and the infinite. Again, in a way, kaya ko rin nagustuhan si Levinas. I have a very good friend 'no, I hope na maging guest natin yun si Sir Joshua, kaklase ko back then sa college, sa
ay
seminar.
ini-invite na po namin kayo ngayon pa lang.
Yeah, meron siyang ano, siya yung nag-introduce sa akin ng mga, ah, amazing things about Judaism. Then the moment I got to learn about Levinas, mas na ano yun, na-amplify. Kasi yung ethics niya, it's very Old Testament, 'no? Kasi well, Katoliko tayo. Pero 'yan, ano ibig sabihin dun? Premium should be put or we should always value the number one, the stranger, the widow, the orphan, the persecuted, the least, the lost, and the last. 'Di ba? Sabi nga ng mga magagaling na Jesuit heretics or, thinkers, ah, that's 3 Ls, the least, the lost, and the last. Why? Kasi, ito yung mga underprivileged, the oppressed ones, they are the ones na deprived na ng justice sa earth. Pati ba naman sa justice ng Diyos hindi sila makakatanggap. So yun yung ano, yun yung isang, kuwan din dito na So well, very practical nga and very appropriate yung title ng thesis ni Lennon kasi ang title ng thesis ni Lennon, hindi na 'to philosophy. Sophie Sophie Philo.
Sophie
It's
Phil.
the it's the wisdom of love 'no. Hindi siya philosophy, hindi siya love of wisdom. The wisdom of love to look at these things. Kasi nga yung philosophy na denominate ng Germans o ng, ni Heidegger for example, na very exalted ang self o ang ego, binaliktad. Dahil baliktad at nasa other yung premium, yung pagpapahalaga, baliktad na rin, hindi siya philosophy 'no. Hindi siya love of wisdom, wisdom na siya ng love. And then napaka-ano yan, magaling sa play of words yan si Lennon. Pasulatin niyo ng love letter yan. Yeah, yun ako nun. Ikaw na,
Magkakaroon na naman ako mga bagong ano, kliyente.
kliyente.
Pero ayun nga, just to recap, si Levinas hindi lang siya nagsulat about philosophy, but he is also well, because his philosophy is also ano, very rooted niya sa Jewish, sa Hebrew scriptures 'no, sa Old Testament. So meron din siyang mga, Talmudic, commentaries 'no, and dun mo makikita yung play nung, ng Hebrew theology at ng kanyang filosofiya 'no, na mahirap paghiwalayin. So, kay Levinas, rooting dito sa, prophetic tradition ng bayan ng Israel. To know God is to do justice, and to do justice is to respond to the face before you 'no. Kasi nga remember, ano ba ang sa prophetic tradition ng Israel ang other? 'Pag binalikan natin yung ano, yung Old Testament, that will be the stranger, the widow, the orphan, the persecuted, the foreigner, 'yan makikita mo 'yan all throughout
The
the
alien,
scriptures, 'di ba?
the
The
alien.
alien, 'di ba? So, ang bayan ng Israel may ano, eh, nasa ano 'yan, Deuteronomy 'yan, na you welcome these people 'no, you help these people 'no. Kasi nga again, yung mindset natin ngayon kasi na very Christianized na tayo, ito yung ano, argument ni Tom Holland sa Dominion, na for granted natin yung values natin today without realizing na nabago 'yan ng Judeo-Christian ano, mindset. Kasi before, napag-usapan natin last week yung kay Plato, so yung pinagkaiba ng Greek mindset, ng Roman mindset na like for example, pederasty or pagpatol sa minor, those were normal things 'no. Polygamy, for example, nabanggit ni Russell last 2 episodes ata yung, na hindi natural sa tao yung monogamy kasi nga we want to conquer. Actually ito yun, yung ano, yung relationship of totality, yung you want to conquer, 'di ba?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pero it changed because of Judeo-Christian thought, no? So, naampunan natin later on. So, although we think na normal lang 'tong sinasabi ni Levinas, itong galing sa stranger, the widow, the orphan, the persecuted, at that time hindi. Sa bayan ng Israel lang 'yun nag-a-apply by that time. Original 'yun sa kanila. Then later on na inampun nating mga Kristiyano. Anyways, hopefully you have a sketch 'no, ng filosofiya ni Levinas. Of course, it will never be enough. There is always so much more to talk about. So hindi 'to parang isang ano, hindi mo 'to mapapalis sa isang semester ng ano, ng klase ni Levinas 'no. Pero now let us go 'no, sa legacies naman niya, yung influence niya after ni Levinas, paano niya naapektuhan, naimpluwensyahan yung iba pang mga thinkers sa philosophy, and later on sa simbahan din, sa theology kasi
Yeah, that's
although
true.
not
Yeah, yeah.
directly pero nagkaroon ng ano, ng influence 'no. So let's now go 'no, sa influence ni Levinas. Sa modern or rather sa postmodern philosophy, we can, pinpoint a number of people actually. Pero for brevity's sake, i-ano natin, isa-isahin natin like for example si Jacques Derrida 'no, is one of the most confusing philosophers. Well, French siya
Yeah,
kaya
yeah.
nakakalito siya. Pero yung kanyang idea ng deconstruction 'no, yung to deconstruct ideas, to deconstruct concepts ay nanggaling yun dun sa ano ni Levinas ng ano, ng tawag dito, ng epiphany of the face, yung face of the other 'no. Pero mas pinalawak ni Derrida, nilagay niya sa language, nilagay niya sa kung ano-ano. Wala ring nakakaunawa sa kanya dahil magulo siya. And then another philosopher, another French, well lahat ng mga babanggitin ko ay French, si Paul Ricoeur, who is, well, more Catholic leaning actually, ito si Paul Ricoeur. I think he was teacher ata siya ng current ano, President ng France, Emmanuel Macron kung di ako nagkakamali, pero ewan ko,
What?
baka ano lang 'yun, baka fake news lang 'yun. Pero itong si Paul Ricoeur, well, katulad ni Derrida, mga panahon na 'to mahilig na silang mag-ano sa meiotics, sa language, sa texts 'no, sa mga symbologies. Pero influence din siya ni Levinas na a really, Catholic in a way ay si Jean-Luc Marion 'no, another French philosopher. Then you have Jean-Luc Nancy and Michael Hendry 'no. So, all of these people and many more draw on Levinas's critique of totality at yung kanyang prioritization of ethics 'no. And then, of course, you have the feminists 'no, yung feminist philosophers na kinuha kasi nga, well, di namin na-discuss kanina pero para kay Levinas 'no, the concept of the other is the feminine kasi you by the, through the POV kasi ng masculine ang ano, ang philosophy, yung being, 'di ba? So, the other is always the feminine 'no, or sasabihin ni Simona de Beauvoir 'no, the other sex, 'di ba? So, you have for example ito sa feminist circles like si Judith Butler, si Iris Marion Young, si Sarah Rudick 'no. So, they draw on Levinas themes like vulnerability, relationality, and yung ethics of care na tinatawag 'no, na nagre-resonate 'no. Although hindi nila laging kino-quote si Levinas kasi nga lalaki pa rin siya, pero nagre-resonate doon sa ano, sa pilosopiya ni Levinas 'no. And then of course, you have political theory na medyo bumabangga sa current political, mindset ngayon sa mundo 'no, yung pag-usbong ng mga ultranationalisms ngayon, yung pag-usbong ng mga anti-migrant ano, policies. Kay Levinas yan lahat yan, no, no, kasi you are ano, you are categorizing again other people 'no, naggagawa ka na naman ng mga categorization, that's violence 'no. Pero yung thoughts ni Levinas influence debates on human rights, for example, hospitality, pagtanggap sa mga migrants 'no, so migration, peace, dignity of refugees 'no. So, andito yung mga ano, yung mga avant kumbaga na ano ni Levinas 'no, dito sa political theory. So now nakita na natin 'yan. We have from philosophy, feminism, then later on ito nga political theory 'no. But also, ito, we will claim here na meron din siyang effect sa ano or influence sa post-Vatican II theology. Tira, Russell.
Yeah, well, napakalaki nga siguro if I'm ano, we can be ano ba tawag diyan, bold to assume 'no. Ah, why? If you were able to listen to our Vatican II episodes, 'di ba, yung series natin regarding the Second Vatican Council, the church intended to talk about things na hindi gaanong napapag-usapan nung time na, hindi dahil sarado ang simbahan, but rather kailangan kasi niya ng mechanism, eh. Kaya nga may mga tinatawag na naging constitutions, 'di ba, yung mga saligang batas. Parang ano yun, katulad din ng constitution sa'tin dito sa Pilipinas, for example. Hindi puwedeng out of thin air magsalita tayo ng isang bagay na wala tayong sasaligan. So, before makapag-usap tungkol sa mga mas sekular na bagay, nag-usap muna ang Vatican II 'no, nag-usap muna ang simbahan 'no, ang kanyang mga leaders sa loob. Teka, ano nga ba muna ano bang alam natin sa mundo para may masasabi tayo tungkol sa mundo? And during this time, again, yun nga isa sa mga great works ni Levinas was written in 74. Vatican II happened in 58, let's say 62 to 65 no, Jews' liberty. Taking direct lessons from the horrors of Shoah o kaya merong Nostra Aetate, religious liberty, social justice, no, the plight of the poor, the dangers of totalitarianism, the dignity of the human person, the dignity of work, the dignity of human life, and the so-called preferential option for the poor. Hindi directly sinasabi na, okay, thanks to Levinas, nagka-Vatican II. But no, the key themes na pinangunahan i-discuss ni Levinas paved the way para mas makapag-ambag ang simbahan sa mas enriched na dialogue regarding these matters. Why? Because the church is an institution. Hindi ko yun palalawigin pero the point is, even for Levinas, yung membership kasi, yung membership mo, yung kapag ikaw ay naging miyembro nga ng simbahan, ng political party, ng kahit anong grupo, may sinusuko ka, eh, 'no, na aspect ng iyong sarili, which makes you susceptible, 'no, or vulnerable to violence, 'no? Either ikaw maging violence o ikaw ay maging target ng violence, kaya yun ang nagiging issue. Pero etong mga bagay na 'to, kaya sa you can sense some, Levinasian themes in Gaudium et Spes, in Nostra Aetate, and Dignitatis Humanae, no, echoing these themes, no. So, that's, the main, documents of Vatican II. Another important thinker ng Second Vatican Council, and probably some will argue, especially yung mga kaibigan natin sa Loyola School of Theology, one of the most important theologians of our time was no other than Karl Rahner. I don't know kung ano yung direct relationships like academic with Heidegger and Levinas, but Karl Rahner also employs or uh, discusses theology in such as a familiar manner with that of Heidegger and Levinas. So the thing is, no, according to this is from Gwen Barden, uh, Levinas tuloy, Heidegger rather, sorry, like Levinas is a philosopher of difference. No, kaya kwan sila, tawag mo dito, sila ay mga anong masasabi natin diyan? These kinds of people are basing their philosophy dun sa notion na ang kapwa mo nga ay ibang tao, 'no? So ayun ang point dun. Pero ganun din kasi kay Karl Rahner. Every person is a hearer of the word. So every person receives the word of God, 'no? Hindi lang sila objects of your sermon, 'no? Kasi talagang, medyo naalala ko yung thesis ko. Kasi ang thesis ko is on missionary life, eh. Kaya maraming missiologists ang galit sa akin siguro. Hindi, kasi the point is, hindi mo puwedeng i-apply yung, ah, philosophy mo, yung theology mo just because they are so-called illiterate dahil Indio sila, 'no, na, "Okey, hindi niyo kilala ang Diyos, mas kilala namin." No, 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 no. Oh, God, 'no, God's grace is mediated through human encounters, hindi hindi sa eloquence mo, sa ano mo, sa kulay ng balat mo. So, yeah, Levinas's contribution ano yun, the idea that the face of the other calls us to be ethical, 'no? Yung magkaroon ng, ah, genuine na human interaction, hindi yung kapag maging pare, morally superior ka na, no, no, hindi, it does not work that way. So, that's, Vatican II and, ah, Karl Rahner. Sige nun, ikaw, meron pa ba?
Actually, kung gusto ninyong ma-shed light kumbaga dun sa ano ni Runner 'no, yung kanyang style, yung latest na podcast ni Bishop, well, hindi na siya latest paglabas ito, ni Bishop Robert Barron with hindi nga siya podcast, nasa video pala yun, with Cardinal Gerard Mueller. Panoorin niyo yun, may discussion sila about theology. Tapos may one time dun na ang usapan nila is that ang claim nilang dalawa actually, na si Runner is very ano, um, well, optimistic siya nung una. Then later on, he really wanted to engage with the philosophy of Kant and Heidegger. To the point nga na napaka-rare niya na maggamit ng scriptures kumbaga 'no. So, makita niyo dun yung
Yeah,
sinasabi
yeah.
ni Russell kanina na Heideggerian side ni ano, ni Runner 'no. Again, Runner himself was not, we are not claiming na these theologians na very impactful sa Vatican II and later on sa post-Vatican II church ay directly influenced ni Levinas, ah. What we are only saying is that we can see 'no, yung mga bakas, 'di ba, ng pilosopiya ni Levinas even in the theology of the conciliar and the post-conciliar theology 'no. So, For the Ranirians 'no, yung mga tagapagmana ni Ranner 'no, post-Vatican II Ranirians 'no, ethics isn't just about obligation. It's a participation in God's self-communication 'no, yun yung ano ni Ranner, eh, 'no. And then let's go on now to another great theologian, Hans Urs von Balthasar 'no. Si Balthasar mismo, hindi natin siya puwedeng ano, ituring na Levinasian. Wala tayong evidence to back that up 'no. But we can see 'no, na yung mga theologians na nagdabol din sa philosophy na mga tagasunod ni Balthasar or they like Balthasar's theology, eh, na kaya nila o nakita nila na puwedeng i-integrate yung filosofiya ni Levinas dun sa mga ideas ni von Balthasar, like for example yung kenosis 'no, yung self-emptying ni Kristo 'no. It's like that self-emptying, to empty the self to serve the other, 'no, yung drama nung responsibility, the relationship nga with the infinity, and of course yung ano, relational I-you, oo, ako at ikaw ng salvation with God as the other 'no, as the infinite other 'no. So, Levinas in that sense gave philosophical grounding to the idea that love is always first from the other before I love in return. Kumbaga, speaking about it theologically, it is God who loved us first. Dilexite, dilexinos. God loved you. God loved us first, no? May ganung ano, may ganung sense, may ganung movement kumbaga sa pilosopiya ni Levinas at ng teolohiya ni Balthasar.
Yeah, parang Levinas meets Mysterium Paschale. From this responsibility, the rational 'no, ako ba din sa mga French 'no, like Blaise Pascal, I remember that, "The heart has its reasons by which reason knows nothing about."
What's nothing about ya.
Yeah, gano'n nga 'no, kasi in this yung responsibility ni Levinas, if you're going to translate it in the Catholic sensibility, it's the kenosis na yung self-giving 'no, yung pagbibigay ng sarili, "Teka, all yours, ready to serve you," 'no? And it becomes 'no, the revelation of God na God, we make, uh, Him more and more present in the way that we treat the other 'no. So yun, uh, moving on, we have Jean-Luc Marion 'no, the phenomenology of gifts or yung, saturated phenomenon. Now, Marion is a Catholic thinker who explicitly dialogued with Levinas 'no, usap sila 'no. And he was deeply influenced by Levinas in terms of the critique of metaphysics kasi nga ano yan, eh, nagkaroon ng decadence yung metaphysics in the sense na, teka, ito ba ontology na pinag-uusapan natin for the purpose of compliance na lang ba 'to, to preserve the tradition na yun ang first philosophy o baka there is something else there. Kaya yun yung binasag ni Levinas na na convention. Baka all this time metaphysics is just an expression of ethics 'no, kasi metaphysics is answering the question, "What is there?" 'No? Pero if you talk about ethics, the first question of ethics is who did what? And following the biblical tradition, yeah, who did what? From nothing, God spoke and things were made. Parang kay Levinas, oo nga 'no, baka naman hindi metaphysics, baka hindi ontology ang first principle o ang first philosophy. Baka ethics kasi God did something. May ginawa ang Diyos 'no, salita siya, eh, at nalikha ang lahat. So, ethics also as a prior to knowledge 'no, and most importantly, again and again, the primacy of the other. This has actually shaped 'no, political, declarations. This has shaped, educational principles. this has shaped even yun nga yung mga academic na discourses 'no, because of this. And Jean-Luc Marion appropriated Levinas to aid better 'no, yung application sa Catholic principles. In some sense, Marion turned this into what we call as theology of the gift, na ang Diyos hindi siya abstract concept na dapat nating i-conquer, but rather saturated phenomenon that overwhelms the subject. Ibig sabihin, the more that you understand na hindi mo siya maintindihan, the more na kailangan mo siyang intindihin sa pamamagitan ng ibang tao. 'Di ba, ang ganda 'di ba na, instead of, fixating on the issue na hindi kita maintindihan, eh, and I will give my life even if I will die, I have to understand what you really are God 'no. Hindi nga, eh, may bakas nga yung Diyos doon sa kapwa mo, eh. So, if you want to get closer to God, you can do it by being more and more proximate to the other instead of lumayo ka sa other, 'di ba? Ang galing, galing 'di ba?
Ganda, oo. Actually, kung makikita mo diyan, ito rin, if you are listening to this, seminaryan ka o philosophy major ka and nag-iisip ka anong iti-thesis mo, I will recommend it, itong mga napag-usapan natin, comparative ng theology for example ni Rahner, ni von Balthasar o ng philosophy mismo ni Jean-Luc Marion tapos yung influences ni Levinas sa kanila. Magandang research 'to actually, 'no? At saka mapapansin mo dito kay Marion yung kanyang pag-Catholicize kumbaga, pag-Christianize ng pilosopiya ni Levinas. Kasi kay Levinas yung insistence niya ng mystery, nandun pa rin sa other, na although capital O yun yung other na ibang tao kumbaga. Pero ngayon kay Marion, itinaas na niya yung bakas lang nung una, inano na niya na, hindi, yep, there is mayroong bakas ng mystery ng Diyos dun sa human other, pero yung other na capital O, na talagang kung kanino tayo makipag-relate is that of God 'no, the mystery of God. And moving on, of course, saan pa ba natin mas makikita, hindi naman yung influence kasi I don't think na directly 'no, binasa ng mga siguro nabasa nila pero hindi naman siguro directly na naimpluwensyahan sila ni Levinas. Pero we can see 'no, yung parallelism with Levinas and the liberation theology at yun yang tinatawag nating preferential option for the poor 'no. This here, si Levinas ay very powerful in a way 'no. So kung philosophy ka, ang iyong ay Levinasian, tapos nung nag-theology ka, ang iyon namang tesina ay liberation theology, talagang magkakasundo yung dalawang yun. Puwede kang maghugot ng konti sa thesis mo sa sa college, sa philosophy 'no. Kasi ang emphasis nga again ni Levinas is the other, the face 'no, the face that erupts, the jouissance of the self. Sino ba 'to? Again, saan ba kinuha ni Levinas 'yun? Sa Biblia, 'di ba? Ano 'yun? Again, yung prophetic tradition, the widow, the orphan, the stranger, the persecuted 'no. All of these who now the liberation theology will call the marginalized, yung mga nasa peripheries 'no, na ginagamit na terms ng mga favorite theologians ni Doc Luke at ni Brother Francis, 'di ba? Yung mga nasa peripheries, nasa mga laylayan ng lipunan 'no, yan yung mga other sa sa liberation theology at sa preferential option for the poor.
Yeah, kung merong, tawag mo diyan, kung merong wingman ng simbahan as far as this teaching sa social teaching na preferential option for the poor, Levinas is your guy. Levinas again, hindi lang philosophy yung pinagnilayan ni Levinas, even yung the richness of the Torah, of the Talmud, of the Old Testament, basically. The themes like justice, responsibility, well, now care for the environment, as our common home, the primacy of the vulnerable, the least, the lost, and the last. It's very Levinasian in theme, no? And this leads us to the next iconic figure, Pope Francis, no? The late Pope Francis and the so-called theology of encounter. O, kasi nga, it's the Levinasian enigma, no? I mean, well, due respect to Levinas, no? I think he will not like the word enigma, no? Pero that's the enigma of Levinas, no? Kasi uh, he places more value on the encounter rather than the ascriptions of a person. Hindi mahalaga yung kung sino ka, kung saan ka nag-aral, kung saan ka no, it should matter less. For Levinas, ang sinasabi niya doon, maging genuine ang encounter. Hindi siya transactional, hindi siya routinary, 'no? And you hear from Pope Francis 'yan, encounter. Go to the peripheries, 'wag kayong tumambay sa parishes, uh, umalis kayo sa Roma, 'no? Basically yung mga first years ng pontificate niya pinauwi niya yung mga nag-aaral dun. No, we don't need na well, masarap siyang pakinggan sa ano, sa sa aspect ng socio-cultural, 'no, na, change is coming, 'no, parang gano'n, hindi, we no longer need so many scholar priests, 'no. What we need are priests who dirty their hands, hindi sa paggawa ng krimen but rather to be, 'no, yung maging kaamoy mo yung mga tupa na sinasabi, 'no. And then you have mercy, 'no. For the longest time, after the war, humanity also grew to be passive aggressive in the sense na any kind of aggression kasi will be dealt severely, 'di ba, during that time. Ngayon kasi, um, hindi na siya s hindi I mean kasalanan talaga yung physical violence, pero yung naging violence even ng mga church people is yung rejection, yung judgment, 'no. Now, Pope Francis in a way, yung pagbibigay ng komunyon sa mga live-in partners, 'di ba, yung mga gano'n, 'di ba? May Levinasian touch yun, bakit? Kasi you don't look at the ascriptions of a person, 'no, or judge them by a single event, 'no? We don't define them by events or by their bad or their worst day kumbaga. Then the face of the poor, 'no, the cry of the stranger, 'no? We have here very rampant ngayon sa US yung migrants or immigrants rather, 'no? The immigrants, the refugees, no? And these are very, very important, no, especially for Levinas. So many Jews have fled, no, fled Europe, no, to escape uh, from the harshest, uh, horrors ng Nazi, brutality, 'di ba? So all of these themes resonate with Levinas' idea na the face of the other calls me infinitely and the infinite in them calls me definitively, 'di ba? You shall not kill, no, I am here. Before you get to say, "Here I am," that other will tell you in your face, "I am here," no? You don't show me, you don't ignore me, I am yeah,
Naalala ko nga yung kwento ng nung professor namin sa Christology, 'no, Jesuit siya tapos member siya noon ng, I think hanggang ngayon ng ano, International Theological Commission tapos may meeting daw sila with Pope Francis. Tapos nag-joke daw sa kanya si Pope Francis, sabi daw sa kanya, "Nagdadasal ba kayong mga theologians?" So, may gano'n kasi siya 'di ba, yung mga quip niya na gano'n 'no. Kasi sa idea ni Francis 'no, God is encountered not in abstraction, not in the classroom, um, not in theology 'no, theological classes, but rather God is encountered in the wounded face of humanity.
yeah,
Again, God is encountered in the wounded face of humanity, kaya nga 'di ba yung insistence niya sa ano, sa mercy and compassion.
Yes. Then 'yan, we have here the post-Vatican II moral theology at again yun nga nabanggit ko naman 'to kanina pero isang pasada lang na unwittingly, unintentionally, Levinas also made the church reflect, think to, hindi lang reflect emotively, but to also think, to rationalize principles that for the longest time akala ng marami, even tayo, akala natin na maraming mga bagay na dahil unsaid na siya, parang unwritten tradition na yun na, okay, we always think about others, we take care of the poor, pero hindi, eh. Minsan kasi nagiging lost in translation and what Levinas in some in a way contributed to the growth of humanity as a whole, not only in the Catholic Church. Yun nga, the Catholic ethicists were able to provide, no, or open discourses on this. You have Paul Ricoeur, no, the Catholic, well, it's a very Catholic philosopher. You have Gabriel Marcel, no? Kanina si Jean-Luc Marion, Jean Porter, James Keenan, a Jesuit, no? David Tracy, Manuel Falk, and they are mirroring Levinas here, no? The vulnerability. Kaya ngayon, even in theology, sa pastoral theology, meron tinatawag na vulnerable adults. In as much as we take care of the poor, we take care of children, we take care of women, we are also taking care of what we regard as vulnerable adults, no? Hindi sila dapat tingnan in the sense na kaawa-awa, no, but rather they are susceptible to coercion, to violence, to abuse, no? So, as a church, we should really be sensitive to them, no? Kasi minsan, they are fully functional adults, no? And they most of the time also, hindi rin nila alam na vulnerable adults na pala sila. So yun. Then the priority again, the preferential option of the poor for the poor, no? The priority, the primacy of the other. Moral responsibility before freedom, no? Before any commitment to your partisan politics or government, no? But the moral responsibility. And to be ethical before doctrinal. Minsan babangga siya. 'Yun ang issue din 'no sa theology din right now na in the post-Vatican II milieu kasi where to strike the balance. Baka mamaya sobra tayo sa
Yeah,
pastoral, wala na tayong regard sa canonical or the
sa
worst thing to
dogmatic.
yeah, the dogmatic, sa liturgical. The worst thing to happen is even because of some well, thinkers like, well, Ambo David for example, i-demonize yung liturgy na kesyo yung mga liturgies nga, eh, liturgy lang alam, wala silang alam sa pastoral life, parang gano'n na parang gagawa ka ngayon ng, another different set ng ng problem by criticizing, those whose passion are in the liturgy for example. I mean, where to strike the balance in that kasi, well, hindi Francis lang, pero I think it's also Pope Benedict XVI. Ang sinasabi nila na the quality of your relationship with the infinite or with the divine should be seen in your actions, 'no. Pero yun ang point, eh, yung quality ng relationship mo sa others is a reflection of your relationship with God, 'no, with the divine. So ibig sabihin, yung apostolate mo will only be as good as your prayer life. Now liturgy, your appreciation of the doctrine of the faith, all of these are pillars of our prayer, of our faith life. Hindi puwedeng you go Rambo or NGO style lang and sabihin mo lang brandingan mo lang ng Catholic, church, no. Kailangan integral pa rin. Kasi yun din ang notion ni Levinas, eh. Ang self ay laging buo. All the time buo siya. Binabasag lang siya kapag may iba, kung may ibang tao. And that's the important thing, 'no. So hindi siya Catholic theologian pero Levinas became, 'no, a silent contributor, 'no. dun sa tinatawag na Church of the Encounter. Meron pang isa, eh, nakalimutan ko, hindi ko alam kung si Alan Badiou yung, ah, Theology of Grace ba yun o Philosophy of the Event 'no? I think it's Alan Badiou, yun din yun, Philosophy of Encounter, yeah.
Yeah, and you see now here yung importance din ni Levinas hindi lang sa philosophy, but also sa theology, sa politics 'no. And even today, napaka-relevant ni Levinas in the face of all of these issues ng ultranationalisms, ng mga rampant na allergy 'no, dun sa mga hindi ko kakampi 'no, yung ating political polarization. Levinas today speaks to us in terms of the geopolitical conflicts, the refugee crisis 'no, migration crisis, interreligious dialogue, racism 'no, human dignity. Kasi yung kanyang idea nung the face of the other has become essential dun sa ethical discourse natin today. So, Emmanuel Levinas teaches us that philosophy begins when we look at another person and realize that we are responsible to that person.
Hindi dahil bound tayo ng kontrata o ng obligasyon at hindi dahil may kina-calculate tayo na moral obligation na, dapat gawin ko 'to para may magandang mangyari sa akin. But simply because nandiyan sila sa harapan natin at lagi sila nakapaligid sa atin.
Before freedom, before knowledge, before identity, before nung being the other, the face of the other calls us.
And perhaps in this world of noise and conflict, that call is what we most need to hear.
Anyways po, napaka-coincidental din, yun ko lang din na-realize. Episode 99 pala ito at after 99 episodes ay pinag-usapan natin yung aming thesis philosopher ni Russell 'no. So we're happy to be discussing Levinas with you. Next episode, we'll be having a special episode kasi 100th episode natin 'no. Maraming maraming salamat po sa pagsama since day one, since the 3 years ago 'no, na pagpapatuloy pa rin ninyong pagtitiis sa kaboringan namin ni Russell, ng mga rants
Yes.
namin at ng mga ano namin, minsan mga inaccurate facts namin, fun facts 'no. So, maraming salamat po. Please don't forget to subscribe, to comment kung may gusto kayong pag-usapan natin 'no, o baka may message kayo para sa ating 100th episode 'no. So, comment there o may idea kayo anong dapat nating gawin sa 100th episode kasi wala pa rin kaming idea kung ila-livestream ba namin o ano, kita-kita tayo dun 'no. So again, alam ninyo kung saan kami mako-contact sa socials, sa email tamangusapanpodcast@gmail.com, sa website tamangusapanpod.com 'no. So ano Sel,
Ayun, thank you sa opportunity na rin ito, na ang dami kong natutunan ulit, dami kong naalala. And kung na-enjoy niyo 'to, well message niyo lang kami kung anong gusto niyo pang pag-usapan. Probably si Husserl, discuss natin 'yan, phenomenology as a
phenomenology,
subject.
oo nga, magandang discussion 'yun. So ayun, okey na, tapusin
Ayos,
na natin
ayos.
'to para makatulog na kayo. Ito po muli si Lennon
At ako po si Russell,
at ito ang Tamang Usapan.
usapang may tama. Salamat po,
Ba-bye.
ba-bye.